Guys, welcome to another week. I hope you guys had a very beautiful and amazing weekend. Yeah, on that note, let's get straight to our business. This week, our choice of interest is going to be the Euro USD. There's been a lot going on in the USD economy. The NFP that came out. Last month affected a lot of stuff. We could see the retail sales, the decline in retail sales and all of that. So let's get straight into it and let's see how we can, sync these with the techniques to make a very good trade up, open up a very good trade opportunity for ourselves this week. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So this is the Euro USD on the monthly time frame. You know what we always do, bring things back to the bigger time frame to understand what is going on before we actually break it down to the smaller time frame, and all of that. So the first thing you can see, as you can see on your screen right here, we have the upper, the main range zone, the lower zone, indicated by the gray rectangles, and now we have a mini zone in between, which is the blue one, right? And we actually said like we expect price to make the push right from this level right to this level. So let's get it on the weekly time frame to understand what is going down right on this level. So looking at the monthly time frame, it was a very strong bullish push, right? And definitely, let's amplify it furthermore on the weekly time frame. So, however, we have price, trading in between this level, to this level. So, what do we have? We had the situation where price made a push, right? Broke above the zone, made an exhaustion, and now price is making, a further push, to the upside, right? So now that we have this push to the upside, what do we expect from price, right? We expect the further, push phase, the overall exhaustion phase is done, right? Right on this level, and we expect the further, push phase to the upside, right? So literally, we actually had to, break this down into even three more zones. So what do we have? We have the upper, we have the mid range, we have the lower zone to understand and break chart down to understand the zone that we're going to be looking up as our area of focal, our focus for this week. And definitely we have the zone. So what do we see on the weekly time frame? We can see the price actually bounce off this level, bounce above this level, previous area of resistance which was broken, and there was a lot of reaction around this level, and price broke it back, gave us a retest around this level, price is pushing. So ideally, what are we expecting this week? Actually, we're expecting a further push to the upside, right? And this is definitely what we're going to be looking at this week, right? So let's take it down to the lower time frame to understand or amplify and see things better, right? So taking things now back to the lower time frame, which is on the daily time frame, what can we see right here? We saw now you can see the zone is well defined properly right now, and definitely with what I'm seeing right here, you can see that this is a push, right? After price broke this level, went on a push, right? It went on an exhaustion. And definitely, we could be having a situation where we could be having the next phase of push to give us A, B, because the CD to that level. But definitely, we just have a projection about that. Definitely, we have to be very conservative with where we're going to be taking our profit so that we can still join in as price continues to move to the upside. But overall, looking at the zone again, you guys can see the price actually made that push right from the lower zone, broke the mid-range zone, gave us a retest, and price seems to be going to the upside. But the question we need to ask ourselves is actually, what are the reaction right on this level? Why the price react on this level? Obviously we have if you guys can see this properly, right? You can see right here that we had a situation where after price got to the highest point right here, bounce off the mean range zone, you can see made a lower high structure right on this level, then made a lower low structure right on this level, and price went back to the lower high level. So obviously, what do we expect? We expect some kind of rejection right there, in as much as, of course, we understand the price is making a push to the upside, but definitely price can't keep making impulsive push to the upside. If all price had to do was just to keep moving in the same and straight direction, trust me, a lot of people would be so rich by now. But definitely there has to be a reaction here and there. So what's the essence of this reaction, right? Price actually going back price actually going back, to the previous area, to the previous high, right? This previous high is a very good level of a very good mini zone, right? Why do we call it a mini zone? Why? Because there have been reaction on it, right? You can see the buy reaction on the sell, and sell right here. So apparently now this is beginning to make a lot of sense to us. So now let's break it out, right? Let me use the line to bring out the specific point out, right? So making sense with this. So what do we understand? Definitely. Now let's bring it now to the chart flow. So apparently what do we have right here? We have the first phase of buyer's injection right on the market, right on this level, right? We have another phase of buyer's injection after this break right on this level. So what had happened right here? We had a mini area of rejection right here. So now looking at this critically, right? The bullish pressure that's been in on this level. This is the bigger zone where price crossed and found the retest and is pushing to the upside. Obviously, the buyers on this level have more strength than the sellers on this level, right? The sellers on this level can only give the price a short pause phase, right? An exhaustive phase, because of course it's eating the last lower high, major lower high on the daily time frame, definitely. But over time, these buyers are definitely gonna come in even further. More buyers are going to come into this market even more for that to push it upward. And this is what we noticed that has been happening right before the market closed last week, right here, right? So now what do we have, right? The buyers is between the buyers and the seller right now. So what did happen? Let's take it back to the smaller time frame. But before we go to the smaller time frame, one thing we know definitely is that the buyers right on this level that we spoke earlier, the buyers injection, the second phase of buyers injection right on this level, of course, after the first phase of buyer got in, the second phase of buyers injection is so strong enough, right, to break whatever is going here. But now, before the market starts to close, right, we saw another phase of buyers injection getting on this level, and this buyers injection is so strong that it has the ability of breaking it. So what do we know definitely for sure? If we can see a break of this area, definitely a trade opportunity present itself further to have this push, and this is going to be a very beautiful 150 plus pips, right? But now, are we just gonna conclude that this is exactly what we're waiting out for? No, definitely not. We need to go to the 4 hours time frame to break things further, right? So coming to the 4 hours time frame now, let's explain things better, right? Remember, we spoke about the first phase of buyers getting on this level, the second phase of buyers getting on this level. So let me use the arrow to indicate what I've been talking about, right? What I explained on the daily time frame, obviously. So we have the first phase of buyers, the second phase of buyers right here after the break of the mean drain zone and the retest, right? Now we are having the third phase of buyers coming in on this level. But is it just, how do we know that this is the third phase of the buyers? That's the question we need to answer. Definitely, we definitely know the buyers are getting in on this level, and reasons being that even on the 4 hours, we have the 4 hours mean drain zone. Right, you guys can see it very clearly. So we have the 4 hours mean drain zone right on this level. So what does this mean to us? What does it mean to us? Let me indicate it with a different color so we can understand what is going on here. Okay, so here we have the 4 hours mean drain zone, right? Now, what does it mean? What makes it this zone right here, mean drain zone? You can see the sell sensitivity turn a buy, turn a sell sensitivity, now turning a buy sensitivity. So in other words, what can we say? That now after price, the second injection, now this is the first phase of injection to test the zone, right? Then the second phase of injection going right on this level, right, to push right to this resistance. Now we're having a situation where we could be having the third phase of injection, get into the market right on this level. Then this is enough to break things, to the upward direction. And definitely we're only going to be looking for a break of this level then before we go long, to the next target, which is, the height, the next phase of high. So this is exactly what we've been talking about. But is that all? No, that's not all, because definitely we have other key confirmation we're going to be looking out too. So let's bring our trend line out. So right on this trend line right here, let me place it properly. Right on this trend line right here. So what do we have? Apart from this zone being a mean drain zone, right, we have the zone right here where the trend line, you can see the trend line support right here, right? So we have two supports, right? We have a horizontal support and then diagonal support, with the trend lines acting as the diagonal support in this case scenario, right? Then apart from that, right, after price bounce off this mid-range onto the upside, bring out the Fibonacci, you're gonna see the price is rejecting exactly at the 61.8 Fibonacci region. So what do we have? One thing we know for sure is the price is sitting on a very strong support, right? Diagonal support in form of the trend line, horizontal support in form of the mid-range zone, and the Fibonacci support, which is convincing enough to know that the third phase of the buyer's injection is in. The first phase right here, the second phase right here, the third phase. So now that we have this in game, we believe that this is going to push price even more further, right? So what is going to be our entry, right? Our entry is definitely going to be simple. We're waiting for a push at this level, right? After a break of this level, definitely this is a very strong level. We expect some exhaustion right to this level. Then the exhaustion, then we can now find a further push to the upside. So this is what we're looking on Euro USD this week. Now, what is the risk reward, right? Is it worth it, right? Break of this level is going to signify our entry. So we're looking at a trade of about 160 pips trade, right? And risking, if we're going to be looking out for 160 pips trade, what are we going to be having as a stop loss? Right, we can have a stop loss as much as about 55 pips to allow the market breathe and all of that, or 60 pips. We're still gonna get about a beautiful 1:2.5 risk reward, which makes this trade a very beautiful trade for us. So this is what we're looking at on the Euro USD. Fundamentals speaking, the USD is still weak. Direct effect of the NFP and the labor data is right on the USD, weighing the USD down. We have the retail sales going down, and we have definitely other basic fundamental news, politically related news, that is just weighing the US dollars down. So definitely we expect an appreciation of the euro against the USD this week. So thank you guys so much, and this is what we're going to be looking at. One of the trade we're going to be looking at this week, and if you like this, if you love what you see, right, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at NoBadTrade FX, our Telegram at NoBadTrade, and Instagram at NoBadTrade. You can share with your friends, and definitely we're looking forward to having a very beautiful week with you. Thank you guys so much, and have a very beautiful week ahead.